Today on CityCast Chicago, all week long you have heard us talk about our favorites from our list of 1,000 things we love about Chicago. But it's not just things we as CityCast love. We also wanted to hear from you too. It's Thursday, March 27th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. Welcome everybody today. If you are new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. If you've been here, done this before, thank you for coming back. You can find our list of 1,000 things we love about Chicago on our website, chicago.citycast.fm. I'm here with producer Michelle Navarro. Michelle, welcome back to the mic.
Hey, Jacoby.
I don't think listeners have had the privilege of hearing from you this week. What was your favorite thing on the list? I know it's hard to kind of maybe whittle down to like your absolute favorite, but what's some of the things that every time you see it, it makes you smile?
One of my favorites on the list has to be when house music plays at the function. This has to be my favorite because I've had the pleasure to be at many events in the city of Chicago. And it's just every time house music plays somewhere, whether you're at the club, you're at the bar, a festival, anywhere, it's just the energy just shifts and changes. Everyone knows that we're about to get down, we're about to have fun. And I love this one particularly when I'm outside of the city, outside of the country, when I'm anywhere and I'm outside and I hear house music playing, I feel so, especially if I know I'm probably one of the few Chicagoans in there, I feel so special and just my head gets so big because I'm like, yeah, I know y'all love house music and that's us. I get to claim it, you know?
I'm glad that you mentioned this one. Every time, not only when I hear house music, do I thank Chicago, thank all the DJs, but I think back to this episode we did a few years ago with DJ Lori Branch and archivist Lauren Lowry, where we talked about Chicago's history, contributions, the birth of house music in Chicago, Black, brown, queer clubs, and it's one of my favorites to listen to because the audio of it, there's this part where Lori's narrating, walking into the club and the music is slowly coming up. One of my absolute favorite episodes, but this theme shows up time and time again. One of my favorites was number 28, Garage Juke Parties. I actually put this on the list because I think back to being in the fourth grade, going to my homie Chris Cheney house. He lived off of Washington over in Ashburn. My late father lived around the corner. And my first ever juke party when I was in the fourth grade, my mom took me to the mall and I could only get one new thing. And I ended up with this all white Atlanta Falcons Michael Vick bucket hat. It did not survive the night in terms of staying clean and white because it was on a garage floor. We was in a garage, trying to hold up while you getting juked on a nasty garage wall. That bucket hat got ruined. I had the Michael Vick jersey shirt. I had some long jorts on. Y'all, I still remember that bucket hat to this day. So that was one of the first times I can remember listening to house music in a party. To this day, my homie Chris Cheney be at the farmer's market now, serving up bread. Shout out to Breadhead Bakery.
Things do change. Yeah, I think another one, a listener and a close friend of mine, Giselle, wrote in. She said collecting lightning bugs in the summer with my cousins when we were little. And this was a throwback because this was one of my favorite activities. You know, it just really reminds you of them summer nights when you were outside and all you had to worry about was nothing because you were a kid. You didn't have to worry about anything. Thinking about being outside with my neighbors, all the kids on the block and just collecting lightning bugs. It's such a good memory that I have. And it's something that I did again and again every summer until, I don't know, it sucks. It's what was the last lightning bug I caught? I don't remember, but it just stopped.
I definitely did last summer because I swear the last few I've been asking where is all the lightning bugs at? They do not feel like they are out and about like they was when we was kids. Hey, shout out to Giselle V. This is your friend. I've been wondering who this was because they on here a couple of times.
That's
522, Collecting Lightning Bugs. 876, The Sound of Seagulls in the Summer. 934, My Pozole Lady Lupita. 84, My Neighborhood Rooster. And then The Random Churches and Neighborhoods at 91. So shout out to Giselle V, G. Like we said, today isn't all about us and our favorites. We're going to be hearing from other Chicagoans just like Giselle about things they love about the city. So where do you want to start?
So I really wanted to talk to Chicagoans, and it was cold and raining as Chicago be. And so I was like, we're going to go downtown where I can be indoors, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be people walking around leisurely and will have the time to talk to me. And so I hadn't been to Navy Pier since high school, and I thought maybe this would be the time to try to get some people who can talk to me about things they love about Chicago.
You said two birds, one stone. I ain't been to Navy Pier, so I'm going to use work as a reason to go back, see what that renovation hitting for, and then see if I can get some people.
Exactly. And so luckily there was people out there to talk to me. And so here are some of the voices.
My name is Jaden. One thing I love about Chicago is just the architecture. And it's just, Chicago has one of the most beautiful architectures out there.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I live in the Wicker Park area. I love Chicago just for the summertime. If you're here during the summertime, it's the best time to be here. The Riverwalk and all the things we have downtown, like for kids and adults, everything's just great. And even the boat rides down are amazing.
My name is John. I'm from the north side of Chicago, Cabrini Green Projects. Favorite restaurant to eat is a lot of taco places. I like Mexican food. Raymond Tacos on Blue Island.
He brought up Raymond's Tacos on Blue Island, which is a very good taco spot. Also, what I love about that taco spot and what I think it makes them very different is that you can get cheese on your tacos. And I'm not talking about like Mexican, like queso fresco. No, like you could get a slice of American cheese in between the two tortillas and get the meat on top. And this is something that's a little controversial. But I will say it is delicious.
I love the taco variations in the city because on one hand, I love when people are like, no, it's just onions, cilantro, the meat should be good, and a little bit of sauce. Like, I like cool.
Classic.
But gee, you know, I grew up in a household where it was iceberg lettuce, like cheese, tomatoes, onions. It was, I ain't gonna lie, it was Taco Bell. And so I appreciate that you can also get like the American taco in Chicago, and it is still good.
And again, it's not like your American, like Tex-Mex hard shell. Like it's you're still getting the same. The meat is prepared as Mexicans prepare it. You still get the cilantro, the onion, the salsa, but that slice of American cheese in between the two tortillas really be hitting when you need that. And Raymond's Tacos is open late, which is also pretty great.
My name is Kiara. I stay on the Chicago South Side, and my favorite thing to do is go out and have fun and eat.
Come on.
I mean, that's just like my favorite thing to do. Go out, have fun, and eat.
And I'm glad that when she said that can mean anything for anybody. It could depend on the week, the season. I'm trying to go outside. I'm trying to have fun, and I'm trying to eat something. And that could mean something different. But yeah, I like that she was like, "What you think? What you think I love about Chicago? It's fun, and I can eat good food."
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm also from the Wicker Park area. One thing I love about Chicago has to be the community, like the people. Like you could go to a store twice and they will always remember you. I just love how friendly Chicago is, for sure.
I love when people remind us that people here are actually very nice. I think I think Chicagoans tend to forget that. But we're friendly people, which I really appreciated that she said that.
Some of the hardest people I know in the city are still deep down inside little sweethearts. If I'm being honest, they teddy bears. Again, we definitely have a reputation for aggressive driving and not taking people's shit, right? And standing up for ourselves. But we prefer to just be really nice to folks, at least as far as I've seen. People are very loyal here and tend to be pretty easy to talk to.
I'm Amy, and I grew up in this area and now live in Texas. And I think probably the thing I miss most is the Chicago sports teams. I'm a Sox fan, not a Cubs fan, but Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, all the rest. So that's probably what I miss the most.
My name is Luca, and I love the sports teams like Go Bears, White Sox. Cubs are kind of bad. Go Bulls.
So clearly that family, you know, they know where they stand.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Audrey, and I live in Riverside. And one thing I love about Chicago is having access to world-class museums and attractions. Yeah, we love the Field Museum, we love the Chicago Children's Museum, and the Adler Planetarium.
Hi, my name is Marcel. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and the things that I love about Chicago is just enjoying the city and seeing people walk around and having my kids walk and enjoy the city.
My name is Malachi, and I love Godzilla and King Kong.
How about Chicago? Say, I love the parks, the zoo.
I Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Say, my name is Malachi.
My name is Malachi.
And I love the Ferris wheel in Chicago.
I love the Ferris wheel in Chicago.
My name is Marcel, and one thing I love about Chicago is when I see the bean when walking, and I love walking here.
My name is Kelly, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. One thing that I love about Chicago are all the architectural structures in the river cruises.
No, I want to do one. My name is Marcel, and one thing I love about the Chicago is I love the buildings, and I love seeing them while walking, and I love going on the subway.
You like getting on the L, homie? I feel you. I feel it. I appreciate that you talked to some people. One person was originally from Chicago, but they stay in Texas. Somebody from Riverside, and then these folks from St. Louis, because, you know, I'm glad they weighed in. Like, this city is ours, but it doesn't just belong to us. It is for us to share with others. You know, the city was built from immigrants coming from other places, contributing their culture. And then I also love when people come here and we hear that thing where they go, oh, I didn't know the lake was that big, or, oh, I didn't know y'all had this many neighborhoods, or, oh, I didn't know the food was so good. I love when people who sleep on Chicago come here and they immediately are woken up to how amazing this place is. And so, yeah, I love hearing from the tourists as well. Hey, we appreciate everybody who we heard from when you were out on Navy Pier. Speaking of, me and executive producer Simone Ali Sayer are going to be headed to Navy Pier together to be featured on Reset with Sasha Ann Simons this Friday to not only break down some stories from the week, but also show some more love to this amazing list, which again, you can find at chicago.citycast.fm. You know me, I've always got a book or two or three I'm either reading or suggesting. And you know we will always pull for the local independent Chicago bookstores. But hey, I get it. With busy schedules, shopping online can be convenient. And with bookshop.org, you don't have to choose. Bookshop.org lets you choose an independent bookstore or an organization to order from, and your purchase directly supports them. I'm sitting right here looking at their map right now, and they got some of my favorite spots like Burst Into Books in Roseland, Bookies in Beverly, Pilsen Community Books, Women and Children First in Andersonville, and so many more. So whether you're looking for something to help you understand the world, or you're just looking for a fun spring break read, bookshop.org can help you find the perfect book and support these community institutions at the same time. Plus, if you use code CityCast, you'll get 15% off your next order at bookshop.org. I'm about to use it right now. I want to thank everybody who also sent us a text or a voicemail over the last couple of weeks. Here are a couple of our recent favorites.
Hey there, my name is Daniel. I live in East Hyde Park. I would say that one of my favorite things about Chicago, and specifically my area, has been Promontory Point. I'm sure that's probably already on the list of 1,000 things that we love about Chicago, probably. In addition to Promontory Point, which I love because I can, bike there and enjoy a nice picnic, and you're right next to 57th Street Beach, or 63rd Street Beach, I believe. But either way, it's beautiful, and I love seeing the seasons change via going to Promontory Point. In the fall, you get the trees, nice greens in the summer, and in the spring. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give my opinion there. Longtime listener, big fan. And yeah, thank you for what you do.
Yeah, Promontory Point came up a few times on the list. Number 620, it was a part of seeing the skyline from different POVs. Somebody put fire pits at the point at number 873 as well. I have been to a number of parties out at Promontory Point that included a fire pit. So I'm glad that came up not only in a list, but I'm glad they left a voicemail about Promontory Point, because we are always seeing advocacy groups also coming out saying we need to continue to invest in saving Promontory Point long term. It is one of those sites that, with the forthcoming climate change impact Chicago going to see, could be in danger due to like the rising levels of the lake and other contributing factors. So, yeah, we definitely love the point. I think we got another voicemail.
Hey, my name is Jonathan Johnson. My neighborhood is South Shore, and something I love about Chicago is Small Cheval and All Cheval. The best burgers you gonna get on the planet.
That's actually my homie, John Johnson, aka John Lamont. He is one of, without a doubt, the best local filmmakers in the city of Chicago. He recently shot the Chicago State of Mind Part 1 and Part 2 for my brother Achilles. He also has a video coming out soon that features some really notable Chicagoans for a Ron Louis project, a great local designer here in the city. Small Cheval, All Cheval. I've seen John go to both of these places no less than 25 times. When they opened up the Small Cheval in Hyde Park when I was still living there, I definitely visited maybe 12 times in the first year that they were there. And so I definitely have to second the Small Cheval, All Cheval recommendation.
I have yet to go. I really need to. People have been telling me that I need to go. And
You're sleeping, Brody.
I know.
Don't wait for Small Cheval to open up a new store in your neighborhood to go, because they eventually coming. But
maybe I will wait until then.
Yeah, I'm mad this one got by me. Even though we got nearly 160 food items on the list, Small Cheval and All Cheval did get by me. That's an oversight, y'all, because I think they are definitely one of the 1,000 things I love about Chicago. But another example that we couldn't get to every single thing, that there were going to be things that didn't just make it on the list. And so this will definitely make it into our next 1,000 things we love about Chicago list. If you've been listening to our Friday recaps, we've been asking our guests over the last couple of months some of their favorite things they love about Chicago, and here are some of those as well. First is our friend Adriana Cardona Maguigad from WBEZ.
Chicago is like such a hardcore city when it comes to organizing, covering immigration. I saw the grassroots organizing that happened when a lot of migrants were coming here about 2 years ago. And now I just been seeing just how much organizing is going around at the grassroots level, like deep grassroots, where people have been just really mobilizing to inform people about just their rights and just so much information that, it's needed. So I just really love that about Chicago.
I really love that she touched on this, because this is something that we all, as Chicagoans, we all know is true, but we don't really sit and think about how lucky we are to have, so many networks and communities that are deeply committed to protecting Chicagoans, no matter of their status. And, of course, this is when we had Adriana during a time where there was a lot of fear around ICE deportation coming to Chicago right after the inauguration in January. And so that was a time where I think we could all remember that, people were passing out Know Your Rights. People were having workshops all over the city in different languages. There was so much excellent reporting from all the Chicago journalists that we're lucky enough to get to work with sometimes, and also get to hear from and read about their work. And so that was definitely a moment where, despite it was scary and it was just a really fearful time for Chicagoans, it was really special to kind of sit back and actually hear Adriana say that and just be reminded that there are so many people doing the work, like the Resurrection Project in Pilsen, and other, grassroots community organizations that are really just on the ground trying to protect people and make sure people are safe and secure in the city.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about, you mentioned the Resurrection Project. That was number 709 on our list. Pilsen Community Books, number 707. Always a community space that is hosting events, know your rights campaigns. I thought about the North Lawndale Employment Network at number 711. Rage Inglewood is another neighborhood organization that fights fiercely for residents and community members. That was number 680. Logan Square Mutual Aid, number 734. So there were a ton of these organizations, community spaces that do some of the hard work in this city to make sure that vulnerable community members and vulnerable members across our neighborhoods have protections, have places they can go, have people who are out here gathering resources on their behalf, advocating with and alongside them. And so it was great to see them pop up time and time again across the list. Next, also from WBEZ, is our friend Susie An.
Well, this isn't a thing to do, but I just love how Chicagoans love Chicago so much. Also probably not original, but just Chicago's food scene, whether you want to go high end or low end. I mean, there is just, you can find anything. You can find whatever it is that you like, whether it is the lowly hot dog, Chicago's just going to zhuzh that up. Or you can shell out the big bucks and go to one of these multi-Michelin star restaurants and have a dining experience of a lifetime.
I love that you can treat Chicago like a dartboard and you can just throw a dart, and that community area, that neighborhood, that cross street, wherever you land, probably has some good food within walking distance of it, right? Food is probably the number one thing in this city that brings me to a neighborhood I've never been to, brings me to a block I've never been to. Sure, I go to concerts around the city, street festivals around the city. We've gone out into the field to interview people from the Southeast side all the way up to Jefferson Park. But the tried and true way to get me to experience a new neighborhood, a new group of people, is tell me there's a bomb ass restaurant over there and I'm hightailing it fast as hell.
I don't know about you, but there's been plenty of times where I've been in different cities or different towns, and there's the one of the issues is it's kind of hard to find something good, actually really good. You'll find a decent meal, but to be wow, this is a really good meal, versus in Chicago, I think it's harder to find a bad meal, one that will actually make you go damn, this was really bad, or this was just okay. So yeah, I'm forever grateful for us to live in a city that has been again and again recognized as one of the best food cities in the United States.
Our last guest we want to listen from is our good friend Tonia Hill from the Tribe.
Black-owned dive bars.
Oh, I feel like we've had Black-owned businesses. I feel like we've had dive bars, but Black-owned dive bars in specific. Do you have a favorite?
Yes, City Life off 83rd near Cottage. So it's between Evans and Cottage Grove. But yes, karaoke night on Thursdays.
Come on.
Every Thursday. It's a bar that's kind of sunken in. I've never seen anything like that before. So you walk in and you walk down steps to get to the bar. And yeah, it's real cute. I in this era, I like being with the aunties and the uncles. They still dance.
Come on.
I can get some food in the back. It's a kitchen in the back. And the pour is heavy and the vibes are always right. So
shout out to City Life. I'm going to need to pull up on them. The first thing when you click on it, it just says old school neighborhood joint.
That's when you know it's about to be fun and it's going to be chill.
Take you to a Facebook page, not even a website. It take you to a Facebook page that just got pictures of old Black women hugging each other in the bar. And I only had to scroll a few to get to some Michael Jordan highlights.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
Shout out to City Life. This reminded me of Cookies. We did an episode about doing Chicago on a budget, like a $50 day. And I went over to Cookies in Chatham, and I was in there with the morning crowd. And you could just feel how close everybody in that bar was. It was like 8:30 a.m. People had just worked the night shift, and people would walk in, and the few people in there are applauding. The bartender immediately knows their drink, asking them how their shift was. And so as much as I love a good, new cocktail spot, a place that only got 12 seats and some Japanese whiskey, there is something about walking into a place that feels like a old school establishment. I'm glad that Tony had mentioned City Life.
And I love too that she kind of captured the essence of what every old school neighborhood spot should have. The vibes are right, the pour is heavy, and the drinks are relatively priced. What else can you want?
Heavy, cheap, and maybe a little karaoke in the back.
Yep, and the vibes are going to be right.
Michelle, I appreciate you going out into these streets, talking to our fellow Chicagoans. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Jacoby.
Remember, you can hear me and executive producer Simone Alicea tomorrow live from Navy Pier when we sit down at WBEZ with our friend Sasha Ann Simons for another episode of Reset, where we're going to be recapping some big stories from the week, but also showing some love to this 1,000 Things We Love About Chicago list. Speaking of Simone Alicea, before we get out of here, I want to bring her in because, Simone, you kind of got a proposition, maybe even a challenge for our listeners today. What you got cooking up?
Yeah, so... Right. We've been talking about 1,000 Things We Love About Chicago all week. And when we were working on this list, I was talking to people about it, and I had multiple people ask me, so are you going to do an episode where you just read the 1,000 things on the list? And my producer brain was like...
Uptown Lounge, Revolution Brewing, Restaurant Week.
I was like, yeah, I was like, I kind of feel like that would take a really long time, and I'm not convinced it's something people actually want to listen to. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is something that people really, really want. And so here is my challenge to you, the listeners out there. If we can get 85 new members by the end of April, we will release a special bonus episode in the member feed of us, the CityCast Chicago team, reading the entire list of 1,000 things we love about Chicago. I want listeners to prove me wrong right now. That's what I'm asking for by becoming a member today at membership.citycast.fm.
517, the storied history of Parkway Gardens. 518, the happy sads, growing pains of watching the city change in a lifetime. 519, turtle races at Deja Vu.
Are you going to keep going if I don't stop you?
No, yes, you probably should stop me. That's just a taste.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly how it's going to sound, but we will read the whole list. I'm
gonna do a different voice
for every single one.
For every 10.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotta keep it going.
Got to keep it interesting. Again, you can become a member today at membership.citycast.fm. Of course, in addition to this potential epic bonus episode that members are going to get, all members get access to our ad-free feed, a members-only email with the best event roundup in the city. Also, of course, access to members-only events like the one that we're going to have next week. If you want an invite to that, you should definitely become a member today. Again, that's membership.citycast.fm. And of course, you get to support CityCast Chicago, which is the added bonus there. It's the great thing. You get to support what we do here. So that's my pitch. That's my challenge. 85 new members by the end of April. Let's see if we can do it.
While you're on the website signing up to become a new member, stick around for a little bit. But something you're going to only get on the CityCast Chicago podcast. Every single episode ends this way. That's with some good news. I got to give a huge happy birthday to Mama T, a.k.a. my mama. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago, she has been featured on a few of our 1,000 episodes. We have learned about her Peel Hill neighborhood. We went roller skate with my mama, and we recently sat down at her basement bar to learn some of her favorite cocktail recipes. Obviously, it goes without saying, without my mama, I would not be here. But that's not only literally, physically, philosophically, but seriously, I wouldn't be a storyteller. I wouldn't love the city of Chicago the way I do now. And I wouldn't be as smooth as I am on my roller skates if it were not for my mama. Without her, I would not be the cool SOB that I am. Haha, you know what I did there. Speaking of roller skating, my homie Sydney Blaylock, aka the Super Bowl showstopper, the Rich City Skate OG, the Princess of JB Skating, is hosting a beginner's skating class this Saturday at noon, and slots are going fast. If you want to learn when and where, just go ahead and drop into the link in our show notes, and I got you. As always, we appreciate you for listening, reading, being a part of this little circle of ours. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow, sitting down with two of our guests who have visited us the most over the last 4 years. Stick around to find out who. Peace.